Hey everybody, Jill here. Welcome back to Whispering Willow Farm. It is a beautiful day and I'm out in my greenhouse starting more seeds. So today I'm going to be starting some more flowers. We've got Status, Straw Flower, Gumfrina, Feverfew. I thought I'd just let you guys hang out with me. We're going to be doing these in the mini block soil blockers as well. And I'm going to kind of just show you guys that process a bit more. I did go back on that video and see your guys' comments, so I'm hoping to kind of hit and touch on some of those as we do this, but let's get started. I did move all of my existing seedlings. I had talked about setting up a grow light in the office, and that just really didn't make a lot of sense. We're shipping out a ton of starter right now and a ton of product, and so trying to bounce back in there with like a water hose and using our racks for that just didn't make a lot of sense. So I did go ahead and set my heater up last night. It actually kept it really warm in here. I came out this morning. Granted, it's a beautiful day here. It's in the 50s, but it was like 85 degrees this morning around 10 o'clock. We are supposed to have some winter weather later in the week. We're supposed to get snow, so I'll see how well it can keep it warm. I think something that I'm going to do too is just bring heat mats out. I think that'll be helpful, but I'm just going to show you guys kind of the setup that we have right now. Alright, so as you guys can see, we just kind of have them lined up here. Right now, I am avoiding putting anything on the top. It just gets so hot up here that I'm afraid they're going to burn. I think I have enough room right now just to utilize this first section. And then next week, my seed starting tunnel will be done. We're just waiting on the tables to be built. So I'll probably have a few more trays today. But then before I need to start like the bulk of what we're doing, we'll just transition out. But since bringing them out here, giving them more heat than they were getting inside, you can see we have quite a few more babies popping up here, so that's really encouraging to me. We have some that haven't done anything. We've got this tray right here that there's not a lot of actions happening, but I'm hopeful that it will. So this is the snaps. They're kind of hard to see. Yeah, so I can see one. They're starting to pop up. They're taking a bit longer, but these are looking really nice, so that's exciting. So one of the more important steps when it comes to using a soil blocker is making sure that your soil is wet. And it's really going to be kind of like a soup-like consistency, and you want that because you want the soil to pack down in here. And if it's still really dry, whenever you go to push that block out, it's just going to separate and fall apart. And so that's clearly not what we are wanting. And so I'm just going to make sure that I am saturating this really well and then working it in with my hands really well. So what I am doing is giving this a good squish. I'm still gonna have to add more, but I do like to just add a bunch of water first, try to mix it together, and then gauge how much more I need to add. So I still need a little bit more. Okay. Now, if you get in a situation where you've like, oh snap, added too much water, it's okay. Just go back and add more soil to it. All right. So this is pretty good and soupy. And then what I do is I keep some loose soil over here, and in some of these it will say like lightly sprinkle, you know, cover the top, and so I'll just lightly do that. But a lot of these flower seeds actually need light to germinate, so you don't actually cover them, which I find very helpful. So once you've made your mixture, I've got these 10-20 flats. These are from Bootstrap Farmer. These are actually my microgreen flats, but they work really, really great because you're able to stick, let's see, 3, 6, 9, 12. You're able to put 12 of these little blocks on here really nicely, and then you have enough space in between. And so that is nice. These do have the holes. You could do them without the holes and just use this to bottom water, but since I was using these specifically for microgreens, they have the holes. And what I would do in that case is just stick them in one of these 10-20 flats and just bottom water. And so that's what we're gonna do. So I kind of have a system down where I like to go through and put all mine on here and then go back through and plant them. So some of the questions that I was getting asked, and what I do too, and I don't think I really specified this, I like using these trays because they're rough on the bottom. They've got these lines like this, and it's kind of like going through with this sponge, and you guys can see I'm just kind of taking my hand, I'm making sure that I am going back over onto the soil, getting some more, and I'm doing this kind of like swirling motion, and that is just to ensure that it's all getting stuck in there. Now I did get this a little too wet, but that's okay. And essentially what you're doing, instead of, you can take the heel of your hand and wipe it off, but if you want to kind of stay cleaner and just have one hand dirty, oh, Dahlia's trying to get out. I see Dahlia trying to escape. Nathan tried to rig something back up so she could be with Simba, and she's trying to figure out what's going on. And so if you want to try to stay cleaner, what you can do is just keep doing that circular motion on the bottom of your surface. And I find that it does help quite a bit. I think I've gotten just too much water in here, but we'll see. Alright, so you guys can see it's nice and packed. Now what I'm going to do is, instead of, so I'm going to take it and I'm going to push it down. Let me see if I can show you guys. And I'm going to push it lightly just to try to get some of that excess water out. And the idea is to lift with your fingers, not necessarily push, right? So you're pushing down on it, but you're really using your fingers to lift up the block. And when you do that, look at there. Look at those awesome soil blocks. So even though this looks really wet, based off of how easily that came out, I'd say I'm probably doing good as far as how much water I had in there. One of the questions that I saw asked a lot was, are you taking the soil blocks to the plant cell? Like, could you sell plants in them? And then another one was, how do you pot them up? You cannot do, well, okay, I'm not doing soil blockers for the plant cell. That seems really difficult. We are going to be doing cow pots, like a biodegradable, eco-friendly option for the plant cell. So I don't recommend doing this if you're trying to sell them. And when you want to pot up, essentially what you do is you would make soil blocks that are in a bigger size than this. So you'd make a bunch of those, and then you would take this little block, you'd separate it out, and you just pop it in that next soil block. And you can keep doing that. So I don't know, I just think the idea of that's really, really cool. And I've really enjoyed this. Some people have said that they dry out quickly, and that might be the case. We're watering all of our seedlings pretty heavily every few days, and so I haven't had any issues with mine drying out. That doesn't mean that they won't, but I think that that's something that's pretty common with a lot of seedlings, is you could, you know, either overwater or underwater, and so that's something to just be mindful of, that if you are starting your seeds, you're continuously going out there and checking on your little plant babies. Alright, squeezing the water out, pushing down, pulling up. This is working beautifully. So, that's exciting. So like I had mentioned in my last soil blocking video, I am in no way a pro or an expert. This is my first year using soil blocks. I am excited. I think it's fun just to learn something new. Many of you guys, though, had a lot of recommendations on people who know a lot about soil blocks. So if I'm not giving you the information you need, which is a pretty basic, just like how I'm doing it, I do know that there's a lot of other really good resources online where you guys can check out people who have been doing this a lot longer than I have, and it's their primary way of starting seeds. Alright, I did go through and add a bit more soil to this to where it wasn't as wet and mushy. I'm absolutely ready for summer. It's so weird. This will be the first time in, gosh, probably 8 years I've not already started tomatoes. I think the latest I've ever started tomatoes before was Valentine's Day, which was last week. So in a way, I feel really, really behind, but I keep telling myself that we bought hybrids this year for the tunnel, and so they will grow a lot faster, and I don't actually really need to be starting tomatoes yet. So I am living vicariously through all of you guys starting all your tomatoes. I saw someone on Instagram today and their tomatoes are so big, and I had that, did I miss it? But I didn't. You guys know we're kind of rocking to the beat of our own drum this year on our farm and doing things a bit different. I think that that's something Nathan and I are excited about this year too. Growing all these hybrid varieties, we are, able to start them later and hopefully be yielding produce earlier. And so that is something that we're going to just be taking a lot of detailed notes on that and comparing. And if it didn't work out, if it didn't go how we thought it would, then we'll just go back to what we're doing or try to find a new system. But I do encourage you guys, if what you're doing isn't working, try other methods. Ask local farmers, message people on Instagram, comment on YouTube videos, and just kind of work through a few systems until you figure out what works for you. So now we're gonna get ready. Oh, hi, June. You want to say hi to everybody? You want to come say hi to everybody? Yeah, okay. Oh, say hey, friends. Hey, friends. All right, so now I'm going through and I am seeding my things. One thing I will mention too, if you are planting flowers, you'll notice that they are, mommy's gonna use it.
I want to help you.
Okay, you hold this. So sometimes you'll notice with flower seeds that they are very, very small. When I was seeding Lysianthus last week, I was just like, oh my gosh, there's no way that I'm gonna be able to seed these. What I do is I take a toothpick and I'll keep like a little like water and I'll dip it in, and that will help kind of grab. Hang on just a second, okay? That'll help kind of pick up the seeds a bit for the smaller ones. So that's just kind of a little tip I've learned that helps me, especially with like lettuce seeds and things like that too. All right, guys, I've got one tray done, quite a few more to go, but I do have a little helper out here. She's getting all her Valentine's Day candy out to show everybody. You gonna come over here and tell everybody bye, June?
Yeah. Bye-bye.
Say bye-bye. Thanks for hanging out.
Thank you, hang out.
All right, guys, well, I'm gonna knock this out, but thanks so much for hanging out with me. I'll talk to you soon.